Hello, my name is LankyBrit and this is the Minecraft Structure Planner 0.99.7 release. This one has a couple of meaty features in it, so I thought I'd make a quick video just to walk everybody through how to use them. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to go to the Structures menu and just create myself a simple structure. So in this case it's going to be a dome, a silo type dome. Okay, if we go to the 3D projection, nothing looks unusual here. It looks the same as all the other releases so far. You've got mouse control now, so you can actually tilt, pan and zoom into your object using the mouse as well as the keyboard. And this will actually work on Macs, Linux and Windows as well. Okay, in the texture panel you can see everything looks very familiar. No changes there until you open the texture filter. Now I've gotten rid of the clunky filter that used to be there, and now you can see there's a list of named texture sets that you can choose from. So if you watch the textures panel below this, if I select slabs, now the textures panel is showing just slabs. If I select wood, it'll show wood, wool, it'll show wool. The nice thing about this list is that you can select more than one set. So for example, I could select wood and then control click to multi-select, say, plants as well, and it'll add those textures straight into the set of textures you're using. So this is a very convenient way to restrict the textures that you're using and displaying in your texture set. Obviously clicking on the textures works in exactly the same way as it always has. You can quickly retextures. One of the very useful things about restricting your texture set is that you can now minimize the number of textures or control the textures used for generating pixel art. So for example, if I take my my favorite example image here and I go to the desktop and select the Superman logo, we create a 100 by 100 representation of it. Let's zoom back a little. If I open up the texture filter here, I can select just the wool textures. Close the texture filter panel. When I auto-generate this, it's going to use just the wool textures, just the textures that appear in this texture list. And there we go. If I go to the 3D projection now, you'll see that the Superman logo is just made out of those wool textures. So this is very useful if you wish to restrict the materials that you're using to make your pixel art from. Okay, so you have a predefined list of textures, including one here that's specifically for pixel art. But what if you want to actually create your own list? Well, this is where the Preferences dialog comes in. If you go up to the File menu, you'll see a Preferences entry now. If you select that, you'll see the Structure Planner Preferences dialog. And the very first one that's selected is the Texture Set Editor. So if I come into here and select, say, the wool set, you'll see that these are the textures that are in the name set wool. We can create a new set here. So for example, if I said cobblestone as a texture set name, I could come over here, multi-select from the available textures, click the single arrow to move them across to the selected textures. If I used the double arrows, it would move everything. So this is a very familiar way of selecting sets of objects. And scroll down and let's just bring the cobblestone stairs across as well. There we go. This is going to be our cobblestone set. If I click on OK now, the texture set cobblestone is there, and you can see that we have the textures that we've just added. And of course you can go in and you can delete sets if you don't wish to have them anymore, or you can click on Edit and it'll allow you to actually move textures in and out of that set and change it. Okay, if I click on Finish and open up a new pixel art tab or a new structure tab, let's do a hemisphere. Hemispherical dome, there we go. If we go to the 3D projection and open up the texture filter, we should be able to see cobblestone. That's the texture set, and that's the set we just created. So if we zoom out a little here, you can select these textures. And there we go. The other thing that I've changed in this version of the release is a feature that's been requested many times by people, and that is the ability to use more than one texture pack, especially for creating pixel art. If you're using a customized texture pack in Minecraft, you really need to create the pixel art using those textures. So once again, if we go back to the File Preferences dialog, you can see that there's a second tab here called Texture Packs. And if I click on that, you can see you can choose from the default texture pack, which is the standard set of Minecraft textures, or you can specify any third-party texture pack. So if I click on a third-party texture pack here, you can see I've already created the John Smith texture pack and the LB Photorealism texture pack in here, and I'm going to show you how to add another one now. If I click on the Add button and select Choose File, you can see it lists out all of the texture packs that are available in the directory you're looking at. And this is very specific. It's not just looking for files that are zip files, it's actually looking for zip files that are texture packs for Minecraft. So for example, if I select the Scribblecraft texture set and I open that, we enter a name, Scribblecraft, and click on OK, and we should see now there's the texture set Scribblecraft. If we wish to check to make sure that that texture set has actually loaded correctly, we can click the preview button over here, and that should open up a preview window. There we go, and that's showing us all of the different textures that have been loaded from the Scribblecraft texture set. So we know that they're in there now. So if I select Scribblecraft and click on Finish, and close down these windows, which are using the original default texture set, let's now create another dome. But now we're using the Scribblecraft texture set. So if I click on Generate, click on 3D Projection, you can now see all of the Scribblecraft textures are in the texture panel. So we can zoom out and start using Scribblecraft textures. And there we go. Works exactly the same as on the other system. And the nice thing about this as well is that when we go to pixel art, the different textures are going to result in different pixel art generation. It's going to produce pixel art that looks as good as it can for that particular texture set. So again, if we generate the Superman logo and say auto generate, yep, we're using the pixel art filter set. Click on auto generate. This is now going to use Scribblecraft textures to generate the Superman logo. So as you can see, already it looks very different. If we go to 3D projection, there we go. It's using the new texture set. And there we have it. Okay, that's the primary new function in 99.7. I hope you've enjoyed this. My name's Lanky Brit.